3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the It's Just Us podcast. Guys, we just want to quickly apologize because it's been a minute.
Sorry.
It's been a minute since we've filmed an episode.
Yeah, no.
It's been a minute since we've posted. You know that meme where you see the tumbleweed like across the
I don't
desert?
know the meme. Oh!
Do you know what I mean? With the tumbleweed spinning across the desert. That's us right now on social media, on YouTube, on all types of platforms.
But we're back.
We're back. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yeah, we've had a
Yeah.
bit of a break. I think we needed to kind of like step back, reevaluate.
Had a baby. I'm joking, I didn't have a baby.
Yeah,
Just
no one had
that sound.
babies.
You know
No
the
one had
Nicki
babies.
Minaj
No one
sound,
married.
I had a baby, done my thing, did the mom thing. I didn't do any of that. But
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah, we're trying to kind of evaluate things, and you know what? Quite a bit happened in the space of last episode to now. We had a few situations, few battles, but we managed to, you know, get through everything. And alhamdulillah, we're sitting here right now. And I know you guys missed us, but it's all right because we're back for good, and we're gonna try our best to be consistent as much as possible.
Yeah.
I feel like the balance at the moment with everything is a little bit difficult, but we're just trying to kind of get back to where we were a few months ago. I felt like the balance and, you know, trying to tackle lots of things at once, it was all right to do. And then I think after the Eid event, and I think after, you know, multiple things happening in our personal lives, it just got a bit techie.
And you know what it is, guys? You know when you're like, you've dropped the ball for a minute, sometimes it's even overwhelming to start again, and we're just like, you know, we're just gonna start again. Keep it plain, keep it simple, just me and Ayesh. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, because we're actually talking about something which I think everyone goes through, but I feel like we have this thing where the narrative is so negative, but it's actually not negative. I think it is probably a good thing, which is imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. So before we actually get into the main like core bit of the subject, I felt like, you know, some people can call us lazy, some people who can call us slacking,
lazy?
you know, you never know. Oh, these girls are being a bit lazy posting. But I felt like, you know, laziness, like, yes, we're going through a level of, not laziness, obviously we slacked a little bit, but I feel like everyone goes through a down period and everyone goes through a level of laziness. But anyways, I was on Twitter the other day and I found lots of like tweets of people being lazy, and then I went into like a little bit of a chain. So I thought I'd read some out to you guys, because if I read tweets of other people being lazy, hopefully that will make us feel a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. Maybe. All right, let's see. I was going through Twitter, I was exploring. Some of them are proper wet, and then some of them are
I
a
haven't
bit
been
like...
on Twitter for a minute, so I actually have
You
no
know what?
idea
Neither.
what the
I'm
scenes
not
are
a
looking
Twitter
like.
girly. I
I
don't
used
go
to
on
be,
Twitter.
but
You used to be a Twitter girl. Did you used to tweet? Did you used to actually?
Yeah, but I used it
dear.
wrong. I shouldn't have tweeted. That's where I went wrong. I should have just been the passive tweeter, where like I would just like, you know, repost a tweet, like haha, and then keep it going. But
no.
yeah.
What
But hence why I'm retired.
Okay, but what tweets were you posting?
Guys, man, I was heartbroken in 2018. What can I say?
Right.
Like, I just need that one person to see my
Men
tweet.
are trash.
But anyway, move on.
All right. So let's see why people are lazy, how people are lazy. Let's go through. The laziest thing I've ever done was made the person I was texting come all the way to my house to turn off my lights. But hey, what a good friend.
Never would I be having that kind of
Babes, would
privilege
you do
in
that for
life.
me? Well, okay, hear me out.
You
Hear
live
me
all
out.
the way. I can't actually say
Hear
that's
me out.
actually
If
wrong to say,
I
but she
was-
lives far, guys.
If
She
I
don't live in
was
London.
in bed bound, like
Babe,
I can't move.
you have siblings, you have mum and dad, you have...
Let the scenario finish.
Okay,
Wait, if I was at home,
Yeah.
I was alone,
Yeah.
I had no parents, parents were away, siblings were away, and I was on my ones. And I was on one side of the room and the light switch was all the way to the other side.
But
Would you
babe,
come
I
to help
will,
me?
but can I just say, it will be dawn by the time I come anyway. So it's like, you just got to shut your eyes.
And just pray and fall
And the
asleep.
sun will peep out. No, I'm joking. Of course I will. Of course. But how are you trying to... Hold on a second though. How are you trying to get the door for me if you can't get the lights?
You should have a key regardless.
Do I have a key now?
You will have a key soon. Do you know what I mean? Anyways.
Fine.
Next
I
tweet.
would.
Uh,
What? Why did laziness have to come with... stickiness?
just stirred my hot chocolate with a comb just because I couldn't be bothered. just because I couldn't be bothered to get a spoon. Possibly the laziest thing I've ever done. You know what? I just know this girl's from the US. I can just tell this girl's from the US.
Aisha, man, don't
You
do
don't have
that.
problems. Honestly, I can tell this girl's from the US. She's got a US flag in her bio. What can I tell you? But yeah, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That's the epitome of laziness.
No, but don't do that because I've got a coffee in my hand and now I'm just thinking about some random girl's hair.
Yeah. You know, when I was younger, I
Nasty.
used to have a phobia of wet hair. And I don't know, like, so basically...
Did you ever watch that horror film, The Grudge?
No.
The
No.
Grudge?
I'm not a horror film girl.
There's this film called The Grudge, yeah. I think it was like based in Japan or something, but basically the girl, she always had like long, black, wet hair.
Yeah.
And she was just really scary and demonic. But I thought that's why you had...
No, I think, I don't know what it was. It was just a feeling. So whenever my mum would like shower me when I was younger, if I saw wet hair fall out, I'd scream in the bathroom. It was a phobia. We're over the phobia now. But yeah, when I was younger, I was...
That's why you never wash your hair, mate.
Yeah, basically.
Do you know what I mean?
Let's just do one more for vibes.
Go on.
Pretty sure this might be the laziest thing I've ever done. I thought I had rain, checked weather.com instead of looking out the window. And tell me, would you do that? Because
Wait.
low-key, I feel like I've done that once in my life. As in, I've heard rain. Instead of looking out the window, I checked, is it raining? Go on the weather app. I feel like that one's...
To be fair, that's pretty normal. I
That's
think I do
pretty
that.
normal.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard.
Like, unless you hear the rain going pitter-patter on the window
Yeah.
pane. Do you know what I mean? Ain't
Yeah.
no one got time to get out of the flipping, like, out to their seats and be like, oh, like, is it raining? Like,
Fair
much
enough.
money to make. Like, what do you mean?
Wait, listen to this one real quick. Kept my makeup on from last night so I wouldn't have to do it in the AM.
You know what?
The
Girls who
skincare,
have clear
babes.
skin, I envy you. Because
Yeah.
my skin would never. My skin, I'd wake up looking like a 15-year-old acne Imani again.
The
and
creases, like everything. Like, the pores.
No. Honestly, my biggest fear is if I nap, even if I fall asleep,
Yeah.
just as a small little nap, and I've got makeup on.
Yeah.
Because like
You
I
feel
grew up.
icky after.
Yeah, and
yeah.
like I grew up with like acne prone skin. I still have scarring now, to be fair. So like I could never like it
How
would.
did you get rid of your acne? Like, what was the?
I
What
feel
was
like
your?
it was a lot to do with age. Like,
Right, okay.
I mean, I still have scarring though. Like, but I've just lived with the fact that I'm never gonna have like clear skin. Like, it's just,
Swear.
yeah, man.
I see clear skin.
It's makeup.
I see clear skin without makeup. I FaceTime you without makeup and you got clear skin.
Yeah, but that might just be my phone.
Right. Okay. So we're being pessimistic today. That's that's the
being
vibe.
real. I'm just
She
being
puts a quick filter on before she answers the call.
in the newest iPhone. Do you know what I mean? So it might just be like less pixelated. You know.
Well, yeah.
But I'm just keeping it real, guys. But you
Yeah.
know what? Like, I feel like recently, this is such a sad like achievement because I'm literally a grown woman. But like, even posting or taking a selfie with no makeup on is a big thing for me because I think to myself, I'm like, wow, like this is me all bare skin.
Yeah, no,
know?
I used to have a bit. I remember my mum told me to go Londis, which was like 2 minutes away from my house. She was like, go get flour. Best believe I had to go upstairs and put a little bit of concealer on. I was so insecure at that time. I just couldn't step out without makeup. But then I just, alhamdulillah, I grew out of it. I just realised that, you know what, at the end of the day, who am I trying to impress? Nobody. Nobody in my town. So
You know what?
what's
It's
the
not even
point?
like it's just getting caught slipping. Like,
Yeah. No,
I think-
getting caught
Yeah.
slipping. The amount of times I've been caught slipping, regardless, Iman, it's actually a joke. I've had multiple people from Scotland. You know what's the worst thing
Say
is when
Scotland?
someone, from school.
Oh, it's cool.
You know what the worst thing is when someone from like secondary school days sees you now with no makeup, looking like an absolute, like, you're basically looking like a homeless person. Joggers,
No, but do you know what
ripped
I think?
t-shirt,
Because I'm
silent
like,
stain on the arm.
I
Like, got the
know,
curry
I
stains
know.
everywhere.
But I feel like I'm hitting the part of my 20s where I'm like, I know everyone's going through different things. So maybe homegirl might have just given birth. Like, homie might have just had, like, got laid off.
Yeah.
Or man just probably ain't got a trim because he's got no one to impress. Do you know what I mean?
But that's
like,
giving
nothing can
progress.
happen.
That's giving progress because you don't care what other people think about you.
I know, but
Period.
I am torn though because sometimes, guys, I do think that, like, you know, when you do look good, you feel good.
Yeah,
And
true.
like, I do feel more put together.
Yeah.
Gym.
Doing
Yeah.
makeup to the gym?
Yeah, I still do.
Yeah.
But recently I haven't. But that's because,
Same.
like, again, I just feel like I just need to get it done. Like,
yeah.
but if I need to film, if I want to film or post something, and I've got no makeup on, I just still cover my face. It's
Yeah.
not good.
No. But
Same.
I used to be the same. But I think
getting good though, yeah.
Ramadan and post Ramadan, that's when I was like, nah, can't bother. Like, I don't know. Like, part of me just doesn't care anymore, and I just want to train for the sake of just training.
No, I hear it.
But I do agree. when you look good, you feel good, your training is good, like everything's just good, and then your day becomes good. Do you know what I mean? Like that's why I get the logic of putting on makeup beforehand, and I'll still put on makeup sometimes, but majority of the times, you know what I mean? Like, I just can't be arsed. I finish work and I go, I just don't want to put makeup on.
One time, guy, that was so bad. That is funny. But like one time, my colleagues were girls, right? It's my old workplace, and like I had no makeup on, and I had to go to work because I had an appointment beforehand. Best believe she was like, "Imani, are you okay? Like you didn't even look this bad after bereavement leave." And that's when I knew. I was like, "Yeah, this is how I put too much of a standard of how I looked," because the fact that I woke up and like just went to corporate like life and had no makeup on, they were just like, is she actually okay? Like, why does she look so battered and bruised up? And it's just like,
that's very brave of your colleagues to be saying.
But what girls, like, I mean, like, it was more like a dark humor joke. Yeah,
like,
she was just like, babe, you even look this bad. Like, you look better after bereavement leave. And I was just like,
crazy,
like slay, but yeah.
All right. Well, anyways, that's our quick rant about laziness and basically how we gotta fix up. But inshallah, we'll fix up. But anyways, the topic of today's episode is about imposter syndrome because, and you know what, the reason why I really wanted to speak about this topic is because I think I embody imposter syndrome 99% of the time. Yeah, I feel a lot of people do feel imposter syndrome, but I think imposter syndrome for me, like I feel it incredibly, especially at the moment. Like I've been feeling it a lot day to day, and I wanted to talk about it because I think other people go through it. So maybe hearing someone else talk about imposter syndrome and just the concept of like rejection and not feeling wanted, maybe that hearing someone else speak about it can make them feel better about themselves, and maybe it'll allow them to kind of get out of this kind of like wave of imposter syndrome. But like I don't know, how would you define imposter syndrome? Like, what is imposter syndrome? If you were to go up to someone, how would you define it? Like if someone said it to me, I'd be like, oh, well, to me, it's just the concept of feeling like unwanted in a situation, or maybe feeling a bit like you don't belong in a certain place or time, and it leads to kind of like certain questions about like, oh, like, am I meant to be here? Like, should I be here? But how would you define imposter syndrome?
I feel like the word imposter is defined. I feel like I'm sounding like Wikipedia, but the word imposter is defined.
Cute fancy music.
No, like it's defined as like basically being someone you're actually not, right? Like you're actually being an imposter. So you're forcing yourself to be somebody who you're not. So you're almost like taking someone else's identity rather than your own identity. So I feel like when I think of imposter syndrome, it's like you don't feel like you're actually meant to be the person that's there. There's actually no B. That was it. Sorry, that was actually it. But that's how I feel like, and how I felt. Like sometimes I'm like, am I like me? Like, was I actually meant to be handpicked for this? Like, there's so many other people that could have been picked for this.
Yeah. And
I'm here. Yeah. Like, how conscious was that decision? Was it by fluke? Was it because I was just there at the right place at the right time? I think that's where I would define imposter syndrome as.
I think, and when it comes to imposter syndrome, like, I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of like Muslim creators and a lot of like South Asian creators would turn around and be like, I feel this, because like you said, if someone gets handpicked, like you would struggle, or you would question why you were handpicked to, for example, become like the first hijabi honor athlete. So then you that's probably because you're Muslim, South Asian, and you normally see like athlete positions get handed to people that don't look like us.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like so confusing. Like, why am I here? Do I actually belong here? Like, for me personally, when I started feeling imposter syndrome was definitely in my content creating days. Not even before honor, actually, to be fair. I think it was just in general, like, why am I growing so quickly? Do I deserve to grow so quickly? Like, why is Allah written for me to hit this number and that number? So I think it's this concept of like confusion almost. But when was like the first time you ever felt imposter syndrome? Like, when was your first moment? It's a hard one.
What? I like with Healthy State, I started Healthy State back in 2020, I want to say, or 2021. I can't even remember. But there was a period of time. This was before any brand deal, by the way. I think I started with Women's Best in 2022, I think.
I actually remember that.
Do you?
You know what? I stalk so many people.
Oh.
I'm not Joe Goldberg, by the way, but sometimes
She's
for
close to it.
inspiration, sometimes for inspiration, I like to like go through a page. So I go through a page sometimes. Once I just went through a healthy stay at home and I just kept scrolling, bro. I kept scrolling and I saw you in a woman's best top and I was like, wow, woman's best. But I didn't know if you were sponsored by them. I just remember you
So
wearing
I was. But that was back in 2022. So I think in 2021, I what's it called? I didn't have any brand deals, but like I remember I was posting and I really enjoyed it. This was back in COVID time, like prime COVID. So like this is when I was doing my home workout and I really enjoyed it. Like it was quite cool. And then I just lost inspiration because I didn't know what to do. And also at that point, I wasn't really following that many creators. So I didn't actually have nothing to really pull me in and be like, oh, like I want to look like her, or I had no one. So like I didn't even know what I was aspiring for, and then I just lost the rhythm. And then that was my first feeling of imposter syndrome, because like the only people I knew on the gram who did fitness content was Chrissy and another girl. Her name's Gina. She's called Just Jean. She's a Gymshark athlete. Love her. Yeah. But they were the only two people, and Natalie. So them three, and obviously like they're amazing women, but like I do not look like them. And also I don't come from the same like story as them, and like I couldn't really relate to them on a personal level. And even physically, like I was like, I don't even look like them, like physically. So then that was my first feeling of imposter syndrome, because I was just like, oh, like what do I do now? And then I had to stop posting for like 6 months.
But I think that's so like understandable. Like when
I didn't even know what to post afterwards. I had no idea.
I went through that phase as well. Like genuinely right at the start of my content creating days, when I was starting to feel a bit like confused of why this is happening, because I didn't like this was very abnormal for me to like grow all of a sudden. Like I just didn't
on social media, right? With your AP
like
stuff.
I was doing creative content way before active Ayesh days, and your girl was doing photography, and she loved it.
She was doing photography. The moment, like I don't think
amateur, the most amateur photographer you can get.
Guys, if you ever want to do a deep dive into Aish's life,
God forbid, like let me go blog
AP lens, guys. Like she was the kind of people where they make like a cool commercial out of like a flipping Ferrero shade. I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my god,
iPhone days,
genius.
the iPhone commercial day. Yeah, so during COVID, so what? That's mad. When you were doing content during COVID, during a healthy state. So when in COVID for me, I was doing AP lens days, where I was creating like iPhone commercials. Do you know this? Do you know about this? So I was AP lens, yeah. So what I was doing was
she's a real
using
creative.
my iPhone and creating. Maynard, you know about this, bro. Basically, I might as well just spill all the tea. Basically, I had a page called AP Lens where I was creating iPhone commercials. So I'd use my iPhone and I'd get random objects in the house and I would just film cool commercials with it. It's actually still on Instagram.
She
like you can
even
still
filmed
access
with
the
Cinemasky
videos.
now. Like
yeah,
I'm telling you, like
I did a video with
she's done
Cinemasky
big
so
things.
It was really exciting, but it never kind of blew up. So when Active Ayesh started blowing up, I was really like confused and I was thinking, like you said, there weren't many like content creators when you were creating. For me, there were hijabi content creators. You had Maymar Lifts, you had Alia, you had Liana. Like actually, to be fair, Liana Deep just put the hijab on, so everything was quite like things were still fresh. I think now like more hijabis are coming into the scene, which is incredible. It's beautiful, but there weren't as many even when I joined. So for me, I was just a bit confused of like, does it feel right? Is this right? And why am I growing? Like, why are people liking my content? I feel like I'm a very creative girl, but you know, like I remember you saying to me the other day, like not everyone needs a deep purpose to be like listened to, or they don't have to have a deep purpose for their worth to be bigger. Because for me, I didn't have that much of a deep purpose. It was just a case of wanted to fulfill a purpose of creativeness, but to also just inspire others. And that's simply that. And I didn't really have a big backstory. And in my head, I was thinking, am I meant to have a big backstory to have a worth in this scene, or to be seen, or for people to want to listen to me, you know? So that was that. And it was genuinely like, it was quite a surprise to grow, but alhamdulillah, like I was very grateful, you know? When you had your first like, I keep saying like, by the way, like, it's mad, I just clocked it now. Right. When you had your first big video, we're improving. When you had your first video, like your big video, like pop and like go viral, like how did you feel? Was it a feeling? Did you feel imposter syndrome then, or was it a bit of a shock?
No, if anything, I think for me, my journey was way more like slow, I'll be honest with you. Even now, I feel like my growth, I'm really grateful about all the opportunities. And to be fair, with every opportunity, there does come that one little moment where I'm just like, am I actually, like, I can't believe I'm living in it. Do you know what I mean? But when I did first go viral, I literally was just like, I was so like surprised. I was just like, oh my God, like, finally, like I feel like, because it's different when sometimes for me, like I just thought I was putting in the work consistently and like getting like no engagement, like talking to myself basically, or like my friends and family being my people were like, my online audience, but they're also my friends and family. They're trying to show support, they're trying to show engagement. And then when I saw like random like people who were like just literally on the internet supporting me, I was just like, oh my God, like that it's actually reaching. Do you know what I mean? Like the algorithm is on my side. But the thing is about going viral is it's difficult because like you're either going to be a person that consistently goes viral or you'll be like the one hit wonders and then it's like a very quick dopamine hit and then that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And you know what? I think the reason why I feel imposter syndrome to this day is because the second option that you gave about that I think that's what happened to me. My viral moments were just one thing and then it just left, and then one thing and then it just left, and it was dopamine hits after and after again, and that is it. And the issue there is that you're not building a community.
You're not.
You're just getting views and numbers, and that's where I think that's where my imposter syndrome lies, is the fact that I know I have a community, alhamdulillah, I've got a good community, but I don't feel it to be present at times. And I think that's simply just because, you know, Instagram is so techie. Like you can land on someone's homepage. Sometimes you can't land on someone's homepage.
Yeah, some people like even your close friend might just be like, I haven't seen you post in a minute, and I'm like, I've been putting the work.
I post every day. What do you mean? And that's the issue. Like it's impossible for everyone to see your content.
True.
But that's the issue. That's the issue with me. I don't feel like I've built that solid ground community, and that's why I feel like you're in a great position right now. Because for anyone that wants to do content creating, don't look at the number, don't look at the followers, don't look at the community, look at the comments, look at the people that are supporting you, because that's what's gonna build your foundation. And then once you start growing and you start getting the numbers, you're gonna be known as someone and not just someone that is like a one-hit wonder.
No, honestly,
you know?
because I feel like a lot of people now, they really struggle to relate to creators that have big numbers, because they're just like, you don't really show me much about who you are as a person. Like, why do I follow you? Like, I think that's where I stopped looking too much into numbers. I think that now for me, my imposter syndrome is different. I think my imposter syndrome now is when I go into a new environment and then I'm like, you know, my marathon, big imposter syndrome.
Really?
Big,
But you did half though, so that's why.
No, but full marathon is different. You know, guys, all these episodes I talk about the bloody marathon, now she's done and dusted. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Like,
say it.
I felt like such a big imposter as well, even after the marathon, because I really struggled, guys. I had 2 injuries during the marathon. So like, I'm just thinking like, why am I getting so much love on a post where like you had someone who had a sick timing and like went really fast, or like, do you know what I mean? And
I
like,
think it's because of your purpose. Like you did it for your barber. That's the reason why. And then on top of that, like this is the thing. That's why I talk about community so highly, because within the process of you getting to that marathon, yes, you were going through a bit of a sticky road during that time. You were still letting people know this is what I'm doing, and guys, like, get involved. Like when you get your community involved on social media, they're engaged. So when you finally did that marathon, everyone was buzzing for you.
I know,
so that's why it's so important to have that community and not think of the numbers. And that's my issue. Like I just have the numbers at the moment, and I want to make sure that I build more of a solid community, inshallah. So yeah, like I think with you, that's something that you really hit the nail on the head for, because you've got girlies backing you, being behind you, and that's really good.
Alhamdulillah. But that's the thing. I think like community is sometimes as well, like you actually do not know who is actually rooting for you, and then you'll get a random message by someone and then be like, oh, you know what, I remember during my marathon time, I got a really lovely message from somebody, and they were just talking about like how you've come so far since losing your dad, and I'm just like, you've seen it all? Like, what do you mean you've been here since then? What do you mean? And like, it's crazy because like them kind of feelings, I swear, no amount of viral moment, no amount of likes, no amount of followers feels the same.
Yeah.
Because like really and truly, right, someone doesn't actually need to tell you anything. Like really, like a lot of people, they're just passively just scrolling on the Instagram. Like,
Literally.
who's got time to say to a random stranger, I'm proud of you?
Yeah.
You're proud of someone you don't even know. Like where, why, what?
Yeah.
And then you kind of realize, oh, like, you know what? That's impact. That's something where you've actually stopped someone's, and actually now you're in their thoughts. And to actually have that much influence over a person, it's another feeling why you can sometimes feel like an imposter, because you kind of think to yourself, like, who the hell am I to be consuming someone's
That's so
presence
true.
at all?
That
like,
is so true.
What is it so? And you know what's so crazy? I'm sure you can relate to it as well. Like when it comes to fitness content creators, a lot of common denominator is that we just want self-betterment. Like a lot of times the gym is a way of transforming your body, but also your mind and your heart and your soul. A lot of times we've come from really, really dark places and the gym has helped us to get back up on top, right? And create stronger versions of ourselves. Now, put that now onto social media. Put that now onto a platform.
You're showing the progress.
But really and truly, you only did it for yourself. And now all of a sudden, people are following you. People want to see your journey. People want to support you. People want to, like, I just think the whole idea of someone wanting to follow someone on Instagram, like, now I'm deep in it. I'm like, why?
But this all got all what you said, I think that stems from
Yeah.
pure intentions. Like you said, if someone was to post on Instagram and do it because they did it for themselves and now they're just showing their progress, that's great. You're probably going to catch people's attention because your intentions are pure. If someone's going to post on Instagram for the sake of just showing off, or maybe like, oh, I want to grow followers and I want to be this number and I want to hit this, that's when they're not going to see progress, and that's when they're not going to build a good community, because their intentions. To be fair, I had right intentions. My intentions were pure.
Yeah,
however,
course,
I think at the end of the day, it just, everyone's journey on social media is different.
100%.
So don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful, so grateful. When I hit 100k, genuinely I cried. I was like,
as you should.
No way are people tapping on my page and, you know, taking time out of their day to hit the follow button because they want to see more of me. The follow button means they want to see more of you. And to me, that was like, wow. So I don't know. I think also it's just really hard as a hijabi. And I don't know if you go through this, but like the male to female ratio as well on your pages, just making sure you know, have majority female, get rid of the, because really and truly my page is only for girls. But there are still men that are following on my page. And it is a little bit frustrating because it's like, why are you following me? I don't think that, unless it's for my Islamic content, which then also I appreciate, but majority of it is fitness content. So I think, why are you following me? Is your intention to follow me, right? And that's what I don't like. So I want to kind of like change that and shift that completely.
Do you know what your ratio is, men
it's
to
like,
women?
it's like 68% women and then the rest men.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite high, you know?
Yeah.
What the hell are they following you for?
I don't know. Don't know.
That
don't
is
need you guys.
mad.
Go
That's
away.
mad.
Don't want you.
To be fair, like I saw I had to give my manager my algorithm stats like yesterday, and I saw and, like, it's so funny. Like the percentage went by like 1% higher to men, and I was like, "Who are these people? Get them off now! Like, I don't need you."
No, but it's true. It's true.
No,
like,
but
it's
you know what? On a real, I do think to myself like, but that's the thing. Like, I think it's just because you're so exposed to the world. Like, you have no idea like where you're going to, kind of thing. But I think the point I'm trying to make about the whole like, why do people follow you, is the idea that like, I think that's a very prime cause of imposter syndrome sometimes, because you yourself, you might just be doing it to show your journey.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody like come along with you on that journey and really want to see you grow. And then they don't really gain anything from it. Or maybe they do, but you don't fully appreciate that because you're just doing your thing, right? Yeah. You're just experiencing life and betting on yourself and like really going for it. And then all of a sudden now someone really wants to see it. And sometimes I think to myself like, how have I now had so much impact or influence? Even when we do our school projects with, you know, for the Chrissy Cello thing, like we do the Chrissy Cello school Project Power, which is where we go into schools and we meet hundreds of young girls who are like only like 15 to 16, sometimes even as young as 14. Yeah. And I think to myself, like, I know if I was their age again, as a hijabi, because I was wearing hijab at that point, and I saw a hijabi like you or me come in and actually doing exercise, oh my God, I would go back home. I would literally say to my dad, who probably would have just come back from the gym, and be like, Baba, guess what
That's a
I learned?
hijabi. Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
never even used to do PE. Do you
Yeah,
get
no,
what I
neither,
mean?
neither.
So like, imagine if someone like us two went into that school, that could be a form of imposter syndrome as well. Because I'm like, oh my God, like I'm influencing, like,
Yeah,
I don't know why I say it like that. Sorry, I'm influencing. I'm influencing like a young girl,
It's so
and it's
true,
gonna probably
man.
fixate, maybe, who knows, but like I feel like for me it would fixate in my head, because I'd be like, oh my God, like maybe I can start now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and some of the questions that some of the girls have asked me, I remember like we were in Luton, and when the girls asked like, how do you, like, what does your family say about this? And I'm just like, as a South Asian girl, like, I get what she's trying to say.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
it's not even the fact that she just thinks like she's slower than her brother, for example, or
Yeah,
anything like that.
yeah.
It's because like there's a cultural familiarity, and that could build imposter syndrome, because I'm just like,
Yeah.
was I meant to give this message to you?
Yeah.
Like, and
Project Power is one of the, you don't
it's
expect it,
incredible.
because back when we were in school, if we were to do something like Project Power and like, you know, girls would come in, I 1,000,000% wouldn't have seen, especially in my school, I wouldn't have seen a hijabi walk in and kind of teach a class, or even give it, because I do like the presentations, give a presentation about why you should move your body and why it's important to move your body. And I think like, you know what, just being able to have that opportunity, the levels of gratitude that I have to be able to do something like that, because, and it's so funny as well, because my mum has always wanted me to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Aisha, you're gonna be a teacher. Aisha, be a teacher. Like, that was from day dot. My mum's always been like, Aisha, become a teacher. You've got the personality, you've got it, like, do it. And I've always said no. And the reason why I've always said no is because I've seen my like sisters do it, and it's just very like draining for some people. So I've always said no. But wow, when I did a presentation, I was able to kind of like inspire like young girls. To me, it genuinely, it felt really good. And I was like, okay, maybe this does feel kind of right. Not saying I'm getting into teaching, but it felt also abnormal at the same time. And I think that's where the imposter syndrome lies for me. Like, it doesn't feel normal to be standing right here, because I don't think that someone that looks like me would be standing right here right now. And Allah has placed me in this position to be able to talk to these girls. That just shows how like your du'as can be answered. Like when you sit on your prayer mat and you make your du'as and you ask Allah, I want to start a legacy, I want to inspire someone, I want to do this, I want to do that. When you just make sincere intentions, wallahi al-azim, I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, it will happen, because we were able to do that. We were able to head into schools and do that, and that is actually one of my du'as being answered. So alhamdulillah, like, it's, you gotta have faith, girls. And even for the girls that like aren't religious and they for example, they don't pray and stuff, just manifest that, because when you set the right intentions and you plan things out and you do things and you really have this positive mindset, it will happen. It will really happen, because manifestation, like, yeah, we're religious girlies, but I manifest. I romanticize and manifest. You know what I mean?
You know what it is as well, guys? Like, when it comes to imposter syndrome, I think we always think it's actually a bad thing to be in it. I feel like now maybe you should just take a moment to sit in that discomfort a little bit. Like, actually, because it's not always a bad thing. You know, when people always say like you got to be in an uncomfortable position to grow, if you never feel like an imposter, you're always going to feel comfortable, and you're always going to probably get to the point where feeling a little bit complacent as well, because you're going to probably think like but maybe this is just my mentality and where I've come from. But sometimes when you are uncomfortable, or when you don't feel like there's always somewhere that's new to you, you tend to work harder. And the whole idea of proving yourself isn't always a negative thing. I feel like, for me, when I've been in a position where I've had to prove myself, and I feel like in some ways when I joined Honor as an affiliate back in 2023, I'll always say this, but like, you know, to be the first person in a brand of your dreams, but you know, like, and bear in mind, I was following Christy for like 8 years before that. Right? So I kind of knew the space in the world she was in, and I always wanted to be in it, but I never ever saw anyone I could relate to at all that looked like me. So when I went there was a part of me that wanted to prove to myself, like, I belong here and I want to create impact, and I want to do it in a way that I don't compromise who I am. And I think even doing that, for me, that form of proving myself has gotten me where I am today. And if I constantly had this idea that, oh, like proving myself meant a negative thing, like, oh, like I've got to prove myself, like, and it's a bad thing and it's just gonna like, and I'm battling with my own self because of it, then you don't actually see the fact that you enter a new space that you never probably would have done if you didn't get into that space of proving things stuff to yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And I think same with the marathon, like had to prove to myself I could do it. Even when I was at death's door, like literally I was 2 miles out. I was literally like, medical aid was like, yeah, like you better walk this last thing. But I ran. And it's because I had to prove to myself that I have to do it. And yes, in those moments you do feel like an imposter. You do feel like, oh, like you're not really meant to be that person. But what if you never do it? Like, do you know what I mean? And I think that's why it's good to be uncomfortable, and it's good to have these feelings, because then you'll always want more in life. And like, that is for me such an important thing, because imagine like I go throughout my whole life and I constantly have these like, oh, you know what? That's nice, but it's not really meant for me. Or like, how do you know it's not meant for you? Go for it.
What
Try
was that
it.
saying? It was like, just if you, what's it? Oh, I forgot what the exact saying is, but in my words, it's if you basically want something, but you never try and achieve it or do it, you would actually be the real loser compared to the person who tries to do it, but then it didn't work out. Because at the end of the day, at least they tried and they know it won't work out. So they'll just try something else. However, if you are in a constant state of like, oh, I want to do it, but it might not work out, or I don't know if it's for me, then you're going to be in constant confusion and you're never going to try and achieve. And like, that just shows like lack of ambition. Like, just do it. Just do it. Just be ambitious and do it and push yourself, because you only live once. Like, I know that's such a cringe thing to say. You only live once. What's it? YOLO? Yeah, crazy. That's given 2016.
Yeah.
But it's true though. You do really, and you never know when your last day on this earth is going to be. So why waste that?
God's written something for you, so you got to let God like do his thing. And he will place you where he needs you to be placed in that right time. Like, you know, my sister, she literally told me this yesterday, and I was like, well, that's some profound stuff. And she was like, let go and let God. And I was like, oh my God, like, imagine you kind of had that mentality. Then if you feel like you've got imposter syndrome, or you're like, just let go and just let God.
Have faith in God's plan. And then I think that also like leads to like the idea of like rejection, because I feel like from imposter syndrome, that could also be experienced from some rejection as well that you feel.
Oh my God, yeah.
Face,
all
like,
of my early
life.
20s, mate, like, especially with relationships, like, guys, everyone knows if you are South Asian and you get to your mid-20s, the marriage talks are like crazy. And then I actually felt a bit of imposter syndrome, like, but I felt imposter syndrome in the sense that I was like, oh, like, I'm the same age as so many people who are getting married. Like, what is it that I am doing wrong? Like, what is it that, am I not in the right space? Did I not give the right person a chance? Did I do this? Did I do that? And then like, I felt afterward, like, and it was the idea of rejection, right? Like, you know, like for me, the person I was in my early 20s, I was so insecure. I had so much confidence issues. Even the way I looked, like I felt so, and I felt like the rejection I felt was that like relationships and me, we just never, it was never a successful area of my life. And the rejection really humbled me, because I kept thinking I was the imposter because of it. I was just like, oh, like, do I not deserve? Like, and it's so sad because it's just like, it's so soppy. But like, I used to feel like that. I used to think, oh, like I don't deserve.
That's normal.
Relationship.
That's
but that's the form of imposter syndrome though, because you feel like you don't deserve to receive love the same way you probably see other people on social media. But like you said, back
early 20s, you had a bit of like lack of confidence. Like,
and that all played
definitely
a part.
Playing a part.
But I think that's what rejection does though. Sometimes rejection can really knock your confidence, or rejection can really knock your self-esteem.
Smallest bit of rejection, like for example,
even rich
not being. Literally.
No, what do you mean you don't want to see my bio? What do you mean?
What do you mean you don't look at my profile picture? But no, I completely get that. And I think for me, like rejection wise, I think even the smallest things, like not being accepted for a job, not being invited to a gathering or an event, like things like that could really it makes you feel really rejected in that sense. Like, oh, why was I not accepted? Like I smashed the interview. Like, was it the way I look? Is it my hijab? Like I always go to like extreme thoughts. Like,
no, but as a recruiter,
are you being Islamophobic? Yeah. What's going on? But yeah, it could be anything. Obviously, as you know this because you work in that kind of field. But yeah, like it could just be through the smallest things. For me, it was always the case of like feeling a bit left out, or not being invited to an event, or not being included in a conversation. That can also be a form of rejection, where you think like, wow, okay, what is it that I'm doing that makes me not good enough to be involved in X, Y, and Z. So when it comes to that, I just feel like like you said, like what your sister said too, what's it, let go and let God. Like at the end of the day, if God doesn't want you involved in that conversation, that probably could be filled with backbiting, could be filled with all sorts. He's saving you from potential sin. Do you know what I mean? I've changed my mindset to that, changing it for like, oh, Allah did not allow you to go to that certain event because that could have led you to do things that you shouldn't be doing. Instead, avoid it and go somewhere else. Surround yourself
There'll never be an
around
opportunity you were meant to miss.
Exactly.
That's the best way to put it. You'll never be in a space that you were not meant to be in. The same way you'll never miss an opportunity that was always yours.
Like safe space here, yeah. But when the Honor LA event, I really wanted to go. I really wanted to go. It was so but the thing is, everything comes for a reason, because alhamdulillah, was Umrah after? Completely forgot. It was after.
Yeah, I went that same month
to the holiest place on earth the same month. So you
had a chance that billions of Muslims literally like
pray for,
save their entire life savings for, and also you probably heard, but like obviously not for Ummah, but like for Hajj, which is the pilgrimage that people go to, it's one of the 5 pillars. They're stopping it for a number of years, and I think they're stopping it for about a decade now because of how hot it is. So people are banning Hajj now for coming into the country. That's what I heard.
That.
Bro, that's what I've been hearing. Yeah, like there've been so many talks about like, babe, not now, but no, but like they've been banning the idea of like people from certain areas of the world going to Hajj for the next 10 years because of how hot the weather is.
Certain countries.
Yeah, but the UK could potentially be one of them.
No way.
Yeah. So my point is, going somewhere that is actually very hard to go to as well. It's the same concept, just a different.
Yeah, because Hajj is more it's harder because obviously it's longer. You go through multiple different steps. You're not
but
just
some people don't even get to go Ummah. I know family members who they'll get as far as the airport and something happens, like car breaks down, or like someone like passport doesn't work, or something happens, or like someone gets sick, someone collapses, like something happens, and they just is the idea like God has to invite you. So you went on one of the most like like life-changing experiences that some people may not ever even experience in their life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It's like when you go to
Umrah as well. Do you know what I mean? Like some people don't even have a mehram they can go to.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's the thing. Like I managed to go and feel that form of invitation from Allah, which was lovely. So the concept of not going to LA, I was a bit like, okay, alhamdulillah, I managed to go. But that was like one small example of how someone can feel a bit rejected from a certain situation. But then, like you said, everything happens for a reason. And when it comes to everything, okay? Yeah. And when it comes to everything happens for a reason, you just gotta understand, like you said, you're not meant to be there. As in the situation, the standard, it wasn't written for you, and it won't happen if it's not written for you. So yeah, I just feel like with people that suffer from imposter syndrome, do you feel like imposter syndrome would ever go? Or do you feel like it kind of stays with you your whole life?
I think if you have... See, the thing is, my perspective of imposter syndrome isn't a bad thing. Like, I actually feel like, not to be one of the people like I welcome all the pain in life or whatever. I'm not one of those people, but I actually think like if it keeps me humble and it keeps me working and it keeps me inspired, if it keeps me, striving for more, I don't mind sitting it. It's just the way I react to it. I think imposter syndrome is like any other emotion that you go through. The same way you got to go through sadness, the same way you got to go through grief, the same way you go through happiness. Like, let your body experience certain things, because sometimes like it just depends on how you react to it. Like, I don't think if I'm sitting in a state of being an imposter, like it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it just means that it's new to me. Like, everyone, on your first day of a new job, are you not going to feel a little bit like an imposter? Unless you have the cockiest pants on, then you might not. But more time, like, people have that, and that's completely normal. It's completely human. And I think it just keeps you humble. And I feel like for me, like, I've had this last 2 years, I do sometimes feel like an imposter because I don't know, like, I always think to myself, like, is this the time? Was this meant to happen in this moment? And then it does. And then you know what? You instead just feel really grateful because it's just like, I'm here and I was meant to be here. And you kind of live in that moment of gratitude a bit longer. Once you kind of overcome the thought process. It's just a thought process.
Well, that's very positive of you.
No, because like I'm not trying to be fake positive as well, guys. No, man. But I think we're just showing two different.
I hate my mom.
Asha, you know you always bring your mum into every single episode. You notice that, bro. Auntie, I'm so sorry, man.
I love my mum. I love my mum.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like next episode needs to be mummy issues or something, man. But
I love my mom.
But yeah,
no, I hear it. I think I 100% agree.
No, like, I think I'm not even trying to be like fake positive because I think those people are jarring as well. I think it's more of a case of like, I'm just trying to show, like, because I've experienced two sides of imposter syndrome. Okay. I've experienced the side where it literally like debilitates you, like it literally makes you feel like to the extent where you'll go to a new space and then you won't even talk to anyone because
that's
you
me
feel.
At the moment.
But that's the
me
thing.
At the
like,
moment.
For me, I'm
just
like, I'm going to go and I might feel a bit out of place, but I'm going to make sure people remember me and I have good networks because at the end of the day, like, you're meant to be in that space. Let yourself be in that space. Like, as in, I remember I saw some TikTok. I can't remember her name now, but she's one of my favorite creators. And she was just saying, like, the best thing you can do in your 20s is talk to as many people as you can, because the more you talk to people, the more you experience. The more you experience, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you grow. That is it. Every person that you'll speak to, it's good to have different friends and different circles and different, like, it's good because it will, for you, like, even if you don't, if you feel like a little bit of an imposter, like, you are learning as you go along. You're gonna know more of yourself as you get older. Like, I'm so much more like comfortable in my skin and who I am than how I was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I think that's obviously through networking and getting to know people,
and also just the own conversation I'm having with myself. Like when I did the Levi panel, oh my god, that was the most biggest dripped in Levi today, guys. Do you know what I mean? This is the kind of conversation. Anyway, but like, I remember being such an imposter, bro. Like, because obviously that was the first ever time I think stepped into the fashion industry.
Like, you're in fitness industry, you're in fashion, like, you're delving into a different cup.
I love a little bit of a fit check. You know me, I've always loved a little bit of like attention to detail.
Classy babe with her dresses.
But like, I never thought I could just like go on and actually feel like someone who's from the fashion industry can be like, you know what, I like the way you dress like that, I like the way you styled it. And then I'll think to myself like, but I was meant to be there. And I think that's what I had to remind myself. And I still felt like, you know what, like, that's a network and a connection that's going to help me with my other projects in life. And I think that's the way to really go about it. You know what's so crazy? You know, like, networking is crazy, Ash, because do you remember when we were planning the Eid event? Yeah. And I told you, like, let's invite Salwa because she's so sick at, like, I love the way she's so into her fashion bag. I love the way she styles. I love what she does. Girl. Her +1 literally works for Azima Mag, which is and she literally was the one who pitched me to them. So then, can you imagine if I never told you, let's invite Salwa to the panel? If I didn't tell you, let's invite Salwa to the panel, Salwa would never come with her +1. Her +1 will never have spoken to me. And Nyla is the most loveliest girl, but it's like, crazy that networking works like that. And that's us like saying, oh, we didn't want, like, because I remember like when we were planning the Eid event, I was like to you, we need to branch out of just fitness content creators because Muslims are doing amazing things, so like, let's invite this person back. But like, imagine we didn't even have that. We could have just done a normal fitness event because that's what we know. But instead we did something bigger and different.
You ate when it came to inviting other people from different industries, because because I'm very, very new to this. Like, when it comes to, you've done events before, you've been in the scene a little bit longer. I don't know that much and I don't have the knowledge to think, okay, you know what, let's invite people from other scenes. So it was really good on you to invite other people, because I was able to speak to people that I didn't think I'd ever speak to. And I think what I need to do, I think active Ayesh for this year, I really need to get into my networking bag, because I don't think I do it enough. But I think it's just a case of like going to more events, being open to speaking to more people, because like you said, you went through 2 stages of imposter syndrome. One which was like complete denial and like not being able to speak to anyone, and then the other stage, which is the stage that you're kind of in now, but embracing it in the more positive light. I think at the moment,
like
I'm
just entering
going,
different communities. Yeah.
I think at the moment I'm going through the first stage, and I'm just feeling a bit of denial. I'm going to events, I'm a bit quiet. However, I think these conversations are very, very good to listen to, because it kind of motivates you and inspires you to actually try and crack out of that. And I think whoever's listening to this episode today, if you're going through the same thing as me, I got you. We're in this together. But also, we're going through the same thing, so let's get out of it together. You know what I mean? Let's actually try and crack through that barrier and renavigate into a more of a brighter mindset, a more positive mindset. Because I think the feeling of like the pessimistic mindset you have, it's also completely normal as well. Like that's valid. But I think it also comes with experience. Like I think you need a lot more experience to be able to kind of have the confidence to be like, yeah, I belong here, fight through it, let this motivate you. I think it's just the idea of like kind of training your brain, maturing your brain a little bit to kind of get out of that, you know, mental battle. And inshallah, we'll all get through that together and take on all the advice that you gave today. Like in networking, like you said, like, and also before when we were talking about numbers and social media, like mate, forget about the numbers, focus on community and networking. I think those are your 2 key words, community and networking. And if you're not on social media, build your friends, build your good groups.
You've always,
and network.
I feel like we always forget how much we create a community. Like just like even the fact that like it's so crazy, but you know, if you just think about your family and your close friend circle, right? You assume that was just given to you, but low-key, you've actually cultivated it your entire life till now. The people who know you best, they love to be around you because of who you are. You already have community. And if you haven't felt community lately, ask yourself like, what is it that makes me me? And the right people always gravitate to that. I think always, if you're feeling in any state of discomfort, that's completely okay, because that feeling of discomfort allows you to discover a different side to yourself. And I think, like you said, like people offline, a lot of people actually have communities that are the reason. Like, you know, they say it takes a village for someone to grow. Like all of us come from some form of village. And like whether it's something that you're born with or whether you just pick up on the way, it doesn't matter, because regardless, it's part of your path. Like it's part of the journey. So yeah, I think community is just so important. I think it's the reason why a lot of us are inspired to who we are. Like I feel like for me, I am more of a product of all these experiences rather than just me being a lone person. So yeah, but I hope you guys found this episode helpful.
I think also like try and be part of legacies, but also try and build your own legacy as well. And for that, like if you're building your own legacy, use a community that you have now and develop on that, because I think success definitely comes from collaboration. You can be successful on your own, but I feel like it's a slower path. However, when you start to collaborate with others and network with others, not only will that imposter syndrome lessen, but then on top of that, I think you'll find success faster. Personally.
Yeah, you know what? I agree to that, but low-key, I feel like sometimes success is slower. Like I believe in the whole saying, like if you want to get there fast, do it alone, but if you want to get there far, do it together. Do you know what I mean? But it is either way, fast, far, same thing. It's like the idea of something being meaningful. Do you know what I mean? Because I think you can, you know, when they always say like success is lonely at the top, like it's everyone's their own person. I think for me, I'd feel really lonely if I don't get to experience it with the people who help me get me there. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I hope you found this episode engaging, insightful, helpful to anyone going through the same thing. So I want to make it very, very clear that our DMs are open. So if you are feeling any type of imposter syndrome, rejection, or just feeling low at the moment and you need a friend to speak to, please feel free to message us on our personal Instagram, on our podcast Instagram, because at the end of the day, we're here to build the It's Just Us community as well.
Yeah.
You know, we're not talking to nobody, we're talking to you guys, and we want to hear you guys back. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you message us, engage with us so we can engage back. On top of that, if you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe.
What are you doing? Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry, just
The
subscribe,
aggression
please.
was from me last time, the aggression's from her today. You know, we're evening it out. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button if you enjoyed this episode. And if you want to get notified every time we upload, make sure you hit that bell. And then also we've got our personal Instagrams, and It's Just Us Pod Instagram below too, and TikTok if you want to follow us on there as well. But yeah, I guess that's it for today. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.